Good morning, Starshine. This is Madar from Song of Stones, and I want to tell you about a dream that I had last night. I love when crystals come into my dreams and share their medicine and their messages. And last night, what came to me was salt. And salt, you might not think of it as a crystal, but salt is definitely a crystal. And it's an abundant one. It's one that we hold in our bodies. It's one that we need for our survival. And it's one that's often taken for granted, and the full power and magic of salt is often overlooked. So in my dream, someone said to me, I need to be near the sea. And now that might not seem like a crystal dream or even a salt dream, but I have been working with my dreams for many, many years, and I recognize the messages. I recognize when a dream has medicine and messages for me, because the quality of the dream is different. The way I remember the dream is different. And also, in listening to the crystals and in listening to myself and in learning how to trust myself, I've learned to trust the messages that I get after the dream as well. And that message was salt and needing to be around salt. And the medicine is keeping salt in my room at night when I go to sleep. And the message was not just for me, it was for somebody else who happened to be in the dream. But I'm feeling like it would be for any of us, really. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to share that with you, is because, especially at this time, and in our especially because of what we as humanity are going through in this time, but also especially at this time when there is so much chemicals and pollution and toxins in our lives and in our homes. So keeping a bowl of salt, I keep salt all over the house, and I cleanse if there are big crystals that I'm using, like this one, like these crystals. If it's the big crystals, I just cleanse them. And if it's small salt crystals, I just return them to the earth. I gift them back to the earth, and the earth will transform them. The earth's pretty magical at doing, at transformation, at taking something that is a toxin and transforming it into something that's a benefit. And the other way I use salt, the other way you can use salt, is with a candle or a salt lamp. I prefer candles because I'm not a big fan of having to plug anything in, anything electrical. The less that I need to do that is better for me. I know a lot of people who use salt lamps and they love them and they feel a huge benefit from them. And then Another way to use salt, is through halite, through a salt crystal itself. I'm going to see if I can zoom in and show you the magic of these beings. The formations that salt make are incredibly magical. I can't really, the sun is really shining bright, so I don't know if you are able to see this. The really intricate details of their formation. And that's halite. And the thing with salt, this is something that people might find to be more of a nuisance, or just, one of the things that people might not really love about salt is that when you use salt, especially when you use Soleil, which is another way of using salt, which I want to talk to you about as well, and that's by taking salt and putting it in water and using the water to rinse as a salt rinse, and also some people will use it as a supplement and to make alkaline water. I've talked about that before, so I'm not going to get too much into it. You can look at one of the past videos to see that. But what happens is the salt will end up, this is one of the comments somebody made on that last video, which is why I'm bringing it up. The salt will crust around the jar, especially around the lid, because when you're pouring the salt, some of it evaporates and then reforms. That's the magic of salt. This is like, I know it's a bit of a pain to have to clean the salt, and it can get everywhere. It just doesn't form around the rim. It can form all over the place. When it evaporates, it decides where it's going to end up. And personally, I see it as a form of expression. I see it as a conscious communication. If you look at images of salt flats, and anywhere where there's salt, you'll see how salt forms, and it forms into beautiful formations. It's almost, well, I'm not going to say almost, they are living sculptures. They are gorgeous. Fascinating formations, and as you saw with the halite crystal, the formations that they make are incredible. And just a note, with the salt, with halite crystals, you really don't want to put them in water because they will dissolve, because they really are salt. This is pure salt. It's beautiful. You know what? Let me check in on that before I say it's pure salt. It might be something else as well. But I'll look into that and let you know. So those are some of the ways that you can use salt. And I also wanted to mention that sometimes crystals will come to you in dreams. And they might not come as crystals. I've had dreams where crystals came as animals. I've had dreams where they just where they came as crystals as well, but they don't always come as crystals, so it's something to keep in mind. And if you're interested in exploring your dreams, I am running a dream share circle starting at the beginning of the summer. And if you're interested, please get in touch. If you want to learn how to get to know your dream messages and your dream medicine. The best way to do that is by exploring your dreams and just being present with your dreams. And over time, you start to learn what they're telling you. I'm going to send you off with lots of love and many blessings.